Hi, so this is for EOL number 12. So I found this really educational as well. It really just puts everything together, what we are learning. So yeah, so implementing an evidence-based practice or program increases the likelihood that your child or student's performance will improve. To judge a program's effectiveness, one should systematically monitor learner outcomes. The purpose of monitoring progress is to determine whether individuals are improving. One of the best ways to measure the progress and monitor is a type of formative assessment in which learning is evaluated on a regular basis. It's important it's on a regular basis so you can have consistent data. Step 2, systematically monitor fidelity of implementation. The purpose of monitoring fidelity is to ensure that the EBP is being implemented as intended, which will increase the likelihood of improved young child or student outcomes. So then 3, examine the relationship between learner outcomes and the fidelity of implementation. The purpose of considering the two sets of data is to determine whether the EBP is effective for children or students with whom you are worried about. So it's important to note fidelity data should be collected frequently at first, twice per week. As you become more familiar with the practice or program and achieve and maintain high levels of fidelity, monitoring can occur less frequently. For instance, even once per month. The process of implementing, well, I guess that part kind of confused me because I didn't understand how you're going to collect consistent data if you're only doing it once a month. So that is something I still have kind of a question on. So the process of implementing and monitoring our plan is what will verify our hypothesis of our functional behavior assessment. And there are really 3 steps we need to look at. The first is determine how you are going to take data and take data so that you know if the behavior is actually improving versus if it's just a coincidence. The second is what we need to make sure that the plan is being implemented with fidelity, because without that we don't have a true test of our hypothesis. If we're not actually implementing, for instance, our replacement strategies, we're not going to have ability to say, oh, it's our FBA, that's wrong, because that's why we conduct the FBA, so we can have something to go off of. And finally, if our plan isn't working, we need to problem solve why that is and where the problem is. Sometimes that means going all the way back and redoing the FBA, but sometimes it just means tweaking a little what we're looking at. If we aren't taking data that we can actually compare to our data from the FBA or during the FBA, then we may think the behavior is improving, only to find out that it isn't. Once you've identified a progress monitoring measure, you are ready to begin monitoring the progress of your children or students. This is a relatively simple process that offers a quick and accurate picture of the performance. The steps below describe how we're going to monitor practice. So first, we're going to collect baseline data, determine each individual's current level of performance for the targeted skill. Although you can estimate a child or student's baseline from the score and one measure or probe, you will get better estimate of an individual's level of performance by administering 3 probes within a week or so. So then 2, identify the goal, determine the level of performance that you want each child or student to reach by the end of the intervention or instructional period. Then you're going to create a graph. You can obtain progress monitoring graphs in 2 ways. Most commonly, progress monitoring measures come with a graphing software that you can use. The second option is to create your own graphs, which I think we're doing. We're using Excel. So then administer your score probes. You should administer and score the probes at regular intervals. Example, weekly, bi-weekly, just needs to be consistent. And then you're finally going to graph the scores. So we definitely have brushed upon this a lot, but it's kind of helpful to see several different resources sharing ways to do this and the importance of it. So yes, that's EOL number 12.